The fastest growing company in the world is doing a token presale, and it will be massive. They have a maximum supply of 1 trillion tokens, and they have said they will destroy basically every streaming media out there. And I know you peeps have a lot of questions, so let's get right into it. I'm talking about Pump.fun. We're going to go through all the details, the pros, the cons, the FUD, the opportunity, and my thoughts. Let's get amongst it. So this is just breaking news. Pump is launching through an ICO, which, it hasn't been called an ICO since way back in like 2017. An ICO on Saturday, July 12th, airdrop coming soon. So the airdrop aspect for people that have launched tokens or participated or whatever, that's not been discussed yet. But the major thing is this: our plan is to kill Facebook, TikTok, and Twitch on Solana. This is very epic for a couple of reasons. One, it says on Solana, so we immediately know that they're still very much aligned with Solana, which is good for those of us on Solana, and the plan to kill these big giants. We've got Solana putting this out as well, which is a segment of the video. Take the Solana pill and you stay in Wonderland. What I want to point out is just the valuation that TikTok has, Meta, and Twitch as an example. So TikTok, you can look at between 100 to 200 billion. They're planning to compete with them. More on that in a second. Meta, the whole umbrella, is 1.8 trillion. So maybe you could say Facebook was, say, a trillion or like 800 billion. And Twitch is a little bit smaller, but this is probably the thing that's expected to grow the most at $45 billion. And if you don't know, you can already do streaming on Pump.fun. It's not widely watched. They've also got like a mobile app that probably doesn't have the insane adoption, but they are the fastest growing company out there. Like, I think fastest to ever get to 100 million, 200 and 500 million dollars in terms of revenue. These are the tokenomics. We'll discuss them now quickly, then we'll go through them a little bit later on as well. Pump will have a maximum supply of 1 trillion tokens. They launch, whenever you launch on Pump.fun, it's 1 billion. So they've gone with 1 trillion, which means it's a better unit bias, which I've spoken about all the time. And it's distributed like this. 33% is sold in the initial coin offering. Immediately, it has 33% available, like liquid in the market. 24% reserved for community and ecosystem initiatives. 20% to the team. 20% to the team, I think, is kind of low, to be perfectly honest. I don't think it's that massive. It's not bad. Then 2.4% to the ecosystem fund. And you see a few other things here. We can make it big just for a moment. So this is here. This is probably where the airdrop's going to come out of. And like grants and all that kind of stuff. Live streaming, I'm unsure why they've like kind of pinged it like this. Ecosystem fund, foundation, and liquidity in exchanges. These are all a little bit, there's not a huge amount of transparency here, but this you can basically think of like the team and the early investors. This is what they're getting. And then the ICO is 33%. And maybe there's an airdrop of like 10%. We're just going to have to wait and see. Now, how do you actually participate? And will it be worth participating? So this is very, very smart the way they've done it. They haven't partnered with one exchange. They've gone and partnered with a whole lot of pretty damn big ones, Bybit being the biggest of them. Bybit, then Kraken, and then you can see the list here. And you can even do it directly at token.pump.fun, where you complete your KYC ahead of time. You can only do this if you're not from the UK and the US, and there'll be some restricted countries around the world, of course. Now, we don't have complete clarity on how this goes. Like, I actually imagine this will fill up pretty damn fast. Like, what they're after is like a sizable amount of money, but because for 15% of the total supply. But I'm kind of I have the feeling that it's not going to last 3 days. I would be surprised if it lasted 1 day, to be perfectly honest. So you can go here, but I'm not going to necessarily trust this over an exchange. Like maybe the data gets leaked or whatever, like, just as an idea. Bybit, they'll probably do pretty well. And I do wonder if too much money goes in fast, if you're going to get like pro-rated, because people will be putting in millions of dollars. Because the valuation of $4 billion FTV, it's not actually that crazy. It's pretty damn low. Kraken will probably do well. You can do this from mobile app as well. And we're just going to have to wait and see how it works. We know that you have to do KYC. We know that there's no lockup. It'll take a couple of days before you get your tokens. It's on the Solana blockchain, so we know that. That's all well and good. The one thing we don't know is if it's going to be kind of oversubscribed. And then we start to go down to the other more kind of tier 2 tier 2, tier 3 exchanges where they're after 600 million. They're all kind of divided amongst different exchanges. Probably some exchanges have more than the others, but it isn't perfectly represented how it works. If you're already signed up to MEXC and you want to get amongst it, it looks like you can get a bit of a discount just for like $75 worth. But a new user, do a little bit of trading, and then you're going to go and get basically paying half price, more or less half price, but only for $75. And then the individual subscription limits 100K. Some others are even bigger than this. For whatever reason, KuCoin has like this is kind of wrong or a little bit strange, and I believe you can do like a maximum of $1 million on that. So what are people's thoughts on this? So Fabian is asking who will buy. Europeans are banned from the presale. Gate and Bybit are prohibited in the US too. So yes, the US is prohibited. Some people have managed to KYC around that, like places with Vanuatu and whatnot. Others may even have friends. I'm not saying you do this, but others may have friends that are buying on their behalf and they'll kind of OTC it. Or they might just be ready just to bid with Meteor and the DLMMs, just to bid anything or put through limit orders, which is more likely what's going to be the case. This is from Solana Floor, and it says users based in Europe are prohibited from participating. I haven't seen that as being the case. And you can see with Bybit, maximum purchase limit is 500,000 per user. So if you want to enter this, you're probably best to go off with some sizable chunks from different exchanges. We just don't have all the details. Now, there's going to be a whole lot of hate, and I like VOH. I like most people around in crypto, and I am more bullish on Bonk. At the same time, the truth is, Pump Fund has found a whole lot of product market fit. They probably need this massive raise, even though they've already made over 600 million in revenue. They need this in order to pull in this top tier engineering talent for like the streaming. In order to take on these big dogs, it's going to be very, very difficult. Remember that Twitch was like quiet, or most of the ownership's done by Amazon. As soon as something gets to a certain size, it's bought by another company. And in Web3, this is not the case. None of these Web2 companies are buying these right now. So you can see something like this. It's not like this at all. It's just funny or whatever, because Pump.Fund has been known as being quite extractive. So I'm going to leave it with you basically there, but that's what they see there. Also, this is quite interesting if it's completely accurate, and that is that the initial institutional investors got super diluted on the sale by the fact that they actually opened it up to the community and also went and grabbed more people. Now, Mossy says that the low time frame price action will probably be a little bit volatile, or as soon as you're buying it, they're unlocked. So you could just, if it slightly pumps for 10, 20%, it's going to be free money. If people don't think it's valued at that, and I kind of feel like it's very easily valued at that, to be perfectly honest. It's made so much money. We just don't have the exact details on tokenomics, but we'll cover what we do know in a second. But I do think people are going to be really buying this. And by opening up to the community, it's a good way. I think the best way that a token is actually launched is by saying, hey, you want the token? Buy the token. Then if there's some sort of airdrop in the future, perfect. But these things where you buy the token, or there's an airdrop and VCs kind of cover things, and then you can buy this by buying the dip, I don't think that's what projects should be doing. And it says it's surprising they didn't get any of the tier 1 exchanges, Coinbase, Binance, or Upbit, to participate in the ICO. Look, Bybit is behind Binance, to be perfectly honest. Upbit is big in South Korea, and Coinbase is under. There's no point in having Coinbase because this can't go live in the US. So I think there's a lot of criticism, but it's all like, it's got to be properly weighed in, and I don't think it's that worthwhile to really discuss it too much. I think this is going to be a successful thing. Now, if we have a look back at this, now that we've gone through everything, this is once again what it looks like. I don't think the tokenomics look too bad, but I wanted to show you just quickly that they don't have any details in terms of what they're actually going to be rolling out in terms of like buybacks and whatnot. What we can see is that they're aiming to replace existing social platforms with one that gives instead of takes, which I know is a little bit ironic. I do get that. And they haven't seen it, just went away from me 1 second. it says that we have a token fully functional at launch. We're giving thorough consideration to utility mechanisms like fee rebates, token buybacks, or other incentives and promotions. So I like that they're thinking about this, but they haven't actually locked in anything here. I don't know when Hyperliquid actually announce what they're doing. Anyway, that's everything. Let me know your thoughts if you're buying below, and I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers.